If this is a small taste of what's in store for the future, then I'm on board with the prospect of ultra-thin phones. Samsung's the first out of the gate with the Galaxy S25 Edge, an unbelievably thin phone at 5.8mm that can only be appreciated seeing it in person. Not surprisingly, it has me captivated because this slim phone is rich in features that make it a worthy best phone contender, including a 200-megapixel main camera, 6.7-inch OLED display, and Snapdragon 8 Elite chip. But at the same time, I am torn because at $1,099 it's intruding on Galaxy S25 Ultra territory, so I'm left wondering if the trade-offs with the Galaxy S25 Edge are worth it. This is only the start, so it will be interesting to see how other phone makers respond to this trend. In my Galaxy S25 Edge hands-on review, I'll tell you what features stand out to me the most and whether or not its thin construction is enough to pull me away from today's flagship models. Does a thin construction warrant a hefty price point? This is the argument at the heart of Galaxy S25 Edge, which starts at $1,099 for the base model with 256GB of storage, or you can upgrade to 512GB of storage for $1,219. This phone doesn't come cheap at all and will make anyone really think twice about its value, but I can say if it's worth the high price until we have put this device through its paces. The Galaxy S25 Edge is $100 more than S25 Plus and $200 less than S25 Ultra. You get 3 color options to choose from: Titanium Silver, Titanium Jet Black, and Titanium Icy Blue. Out of the 3, Titanium Icy Blue certainly stands out the most for its piercing color, but it won't matter as much if you intend on putting a case over it. The Galaxy S25 Edge pre-orders are available right now, with Samsung sweetening the deal by taking on a $50 credit and upgrading you to the 512GB model at no additional charge. It will be widely available starting on May 23 from Samsung and other carriers nationwide. I've been using the Galaxy Z Fold 6 over 6 months now, and what's interesting is that it's actually just as thin as the Galaxy S25 Edge at 5.6mm, but that's when it's unfolded. When it's closed, however, the Galaxy Z Fold 6 measures at 12.1mm thick. Size-wise, it's definitely not as long or wide as other flagship models, making it slightly easier to use one-handed. Against the Galaxy S25 Ultra, which comes in 8.2mm, the Galaxy S25 Edge is roughly 31% thinner. I'm actually astounded most of by the weight difference between the two. The Galaxy S25 Ultra feels overweight at 7.69 ounces, whereas the Galaxy S25 Edge tips the scales at just 5.75 ounces. For a phone that's this thin and light, it still feels incredibly solid in the hand. That's due to its sturdy titanium frame and Gorilla Glass ceramic 2 covering the display. Even with its thinness, it doesn't feel fragile and still gets the same IP68 rating as the S25 Ultra. While all of this makes the Galaxy S25 Edge an engineering feat, I don't have the same reaction as other thin phones I have seen in my lifetime. Yes, it's the thinnest Galaxy S device ever, but it doesn't rival the feeling I got seeing the original Motorola Razr or when Apple introduced iPod Nano. The Galaxy S25 Edge features a 6.7-inch AMOLED display with QHD Plus resolution, which is actually the same as the Galaxy S25 Plus. It's a good size, complete with a skinny bezel all around the display and a small notch for its selfie camera. Samsung hasn't disclosed what this panel is rated for, but it packs all the qualities I love about Samsung's displays, like wide viewing angles and piercing colors. I loaded up a 4K HDR clip on YouTube, and honestly it looks very much like the Galaxy S25 Ultra. It also benefits from the same adaptive 120Hz refresh rate that makes animations and scrolling with the interface so buttery smooth. The true test will be how bright it gets, because the Galaxy S25 Ultra achieved a peak brightness of 1860 nits. Even if it doesn't quite reach the same level, it still looks great for what most people will use it for. Considering how much of a camera snob I can be, it's going to be tough convincing me that the Galaxy S25 Edge's dual camera setup is good enough. It consists of 200 megapixel main shooter paired with a 12 megapixel ultra-wide, but Samsung doesn't explicitly say it's using the same exact sensor found with the Galaxy S25 Ultra's main camera. The zooming is all handled by the main camera. I have seen excellent results from phones that make great use of pixel binding, so I suspect the Galaxy S25 Edge won't disappoint in this area. However, just know that its maximum zoom is capped at 10x zoom, which effectively eliminates space zoom from its arsenal. The Galaxy S25 and S25 Plus have a 3x telephoto lenses capable of 30x zoom, while the S25 Ultra has a 3x and 5x optical with 200x digital. This is one area I am apprehensive about because it means that it won't get the same caliber of moonshots or distant stars whenever I shoot astrophotography with the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Over on the video side, the S25 Edge has all the same shooting modes as the Galaxy S25 Ultra, including manual video mode and 8K recording. One thing I am happy to know is that the S25 Edge packs a Snapdragon 8 Elite chip under the hood, which is paired with 12GB of RAM, just like on the S25 Ultra. This combo has already proven to be a powerhouse, so I am confident it will deliver very similar results with various benchmark tests. Not only is it the thinnest flagship model around, but it could also be one of the most powerful phones around. But given how all of its internal components are scrunched together in such a tightly packed space to achieve its thinness, it does make heat buildup a big concern. I'm pretty religious at playing graphically intensive games on my phones, so the last thing I want to happen is it getting extra toasty and potentially affecting its GPU performance. Samsung says that the Galaxy S25 Edge boosts a configured vapor chamber for exactly this reason, which will help out with its heat dissipation. It's much more of a concern here than, say, the Galaxy S25 Ultra because everything's crammed into a much tighter space. In addition to the camera, the other area where the Galaxy S25 Edge compromises over the S25 Ultra is in the battery department. Naturally, a phone this thin needs to make concessions somewhere, and that's in the battery, which could be a deal breaker for some. Samsung claims all-day battery life from this 3900 mAh battery, but I don't think it will come close to matching the S25 Ultra in the endurance department. That phone packs a massive 5000 mAh battery, as does the Galaxy S25 Plus with a 4900 mAh one. I know very well that Qualcomm's chip is extremely power efficient, but I just can't see it outlasting either of them in our battery benchmark test or making it our best phone battery life test. At the same time, Samsung kept its charging speed to 25 watt, which is much lower than 45 watt wired speeds on the Galaxy S25 Plus and S25 Ultra. All of these points to be obvious, the Galaxy S25 Edge is not going to break records in the battery department. I know some people are fine with this just as long as the battery can last them a reasonable amount of time. I just wouldn't want to find it running on empty halfway through my day. I played around with the Galaxy S25 Edge and it's running the same One UI 7 software on top of Android 15, effectively giving it the same experience as the Galaxy S25 Ultra. There's a lot I like about it, including the fact that it packs Samsung DeX, multi-window and Edge panel to make it productivity powerhouse. Equally, the Galaxy S25 Edge appears to have the same set of new Galaxy AI features that were introduced earlier with the Galaxy S25 release, like the navbar, cross-section apps, and more. Just like the Galaxy S25 Ultra, the Edge leans on different AI agents to perform complex actions, although there's still work needed in how it interacts with third-party apps because a lot of them still don't perform all the actions I want. But despite this, the Galaxy S25 Edge has the latest Gemini AI live integrations, like being able to tap the camera to interact with the assistants rather than typing everything down. Samsung hasn't disclosed how long the Galaxy S25 Edge will have free access to Gemini Advanced, but I suspect it will be the same 6 months as the other Galaxy S25 phones. I honestly believe that the Galaxy S25 Edge is in a tough position mainly because of how it's priced and other compromises it makes in order to achieve its thinness at $1099 US. It's $200 more expensive than the similarly sized Galaxy S25 Plus and $200 less than the Galaxy S25 Ultra Flagship. Battery life is clearly the one area where the Galaxy S25 Edge is at a big disadvantage. You could argue the same for its cameras, but I think its dual camera setup can still pack a punch. Yes, I'm willing to overlook not having a dedicated telephoto camera just as long as it makes do with pixel binding techniques to effectively reach the similar results. You can't take away Samsung's accomplishment here in creating a flagship phone that's bonkers thin compared to anything else around, but it doesn't leave me with much of a lasting impression. If it was exactly like the Galaxy S25 Ultra in every way, camera included, but in a much smaller and lighter package, then I think I'd be more impressed. But it's not. This isn't a generation-defining change like the Moto Razr or iPod Nano. Then again, there's still chance the S25 Edge could sway my feelings once it's properly tested. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.